Who thinks computers and math is cool?
That's a pretty good start. I'm going to spend my talk
trying to convince you that they're really cool, that if you get involved in computers, you can change the world. You know, computers already are changing the world. Technology has radically improved our lives. But I think of computers as a brand new baby. We're just getting started. As a matter of fact, we really haven't seen anything yet. It's going to get a lot better. Why do I say that? Well, did you know that computers, cell phones, and most technologies improve? They get twice as good every 18 months. Every 18 months, they double in power. Think about that. For those of you who really like math, I'll run you through the math, right? If you double the power of something every 18 months, after 10 years, it's 100 times more powerful. Guess how much more powerful it is after 40 years? Can I have a guess? Yes. 400 times more powerful after 40 years. Well, turns out it's 106 million times more powerful after 40 years. Because it doubles every year, right? 100 times, 200, 400. 40 years from now, your cell phone will be 106 million times more powerful. Candy Crush Saga is gonna rock! I'm gonna put this into context. This is my grandma, who passed away at the age of 85. In her lifetime, she saw the first plane. Imagine this, she was born, we didn't have any planes at all. Didn't exist. She saw the first plane that was good enough to actually cross an ocean. By the way, that was 30 years later after the first plane was invented. The first plane crossed the ocean. She never thought she herself would be on a plane, but 25 years later, she got on a plane for the first time, and she was mesmerized by this. And right before she passed, she got to see spaceflight. Like, imagine a lifetime where planes don't exist, and by the time your life is over, you've seen space travel. Incredible, right? Now, in my lifetime, and I'm 45 years old, what's really changed is how we communicate. I'm going to show you the first phone I had when I was 6 years old. It's fantastic. I grew up relatively poor, but even for rich people, making a phone call was a big deal 25, 30 years ago. We could call the same city, but if you had to dial 1 before anything, like if you had to call Quebec City or Toronto, your parents would kill you because it was $2 or $3 per minute to make a phone call to Toronto. Can you imagine? And in my lifetime so far, seeing the invention of the mobile phone, and phones have gotten more and more powerful every year, and now the phone I have in my pocket is 1,000 times more powerful than a first computer in a space shuttle. Think about that. That's incredible. Now, I walk around and routinely I see people who have cell phones and they can do video conference anywhere in the world for free. And things continue to improve. I wouldn't be surprised if my lifetime we can communicate right from our eyes, right from, from a contact lens, or even from our brains directly. I'm sure it's going to happen. Now, what does that mean for you? I think in your lifetimes, you're going to see incredible things. And we're going to speculate here, but I think hopefully you'll find this interesting, and it's going to make you excited about getting involved in technology. And I'm going to focus on 3 things. What's going to happen to computers, to our health, and to money. Which one is the most interesting? Computers, health, or money? I'm not sure. Health? Okay. Money. A few said money. Well, let's talk about computers first. 10 years from now, every person on the planet will have access to the web. Right now, only 1.5 billion people are on the web. There's 5 billion people who are not on the web today. But in 10 years, it will be very inexpensive, available everywhere. It's going to be 100 times faster. You'll be able to download a movie in 2 seconds. It'll be mobile, and you'll have wireless electricity. You'll never need to recharge anything ever again. These technologies, by the way, already exist today. They just need to get cheaper and faster. Today, a computer can beat a human being at chess, the best chess player in the world. That happened about 10 years ago. And 3 years ago, a computer was able to beat the best Jeopardy players in the world. For those of you who don't know Jeopardy, it's a game show, very difficult questions about anything. And a computer was able to beat the champions in the world. So imagine 20 years from now, computer scientists believe that computers will be smarter than human beings. Now, in 30 years, imagine being able to use that power for ourselves, not for the computers, but for ourselves. Imagine if in your brain you can have the entire web right now, access to the whole web, and imagine you can do 80 billion computations per second, which is the fastest speed of a computer today. That's not far-fetched, by the way. There's a program now called the Brain Activity Map that is mapping every neuron that fires in our brains. And once that's done, we'll be able to complete that with some computers and get them to work together. So imagine having all the power in the world, all the knowledge in the world inside your mind. But that wouldn't be that useful if our bodies were failing. And technology is going to have a really big impact on health. It already has, by the way. If you were born in 1850 in a rich country like Canada, you would expect to live till about the age of 40. I would be dead if I was born 150 years ago. But now, somebody born today expects to live to the age of 83, 84. It's pretty incredible, not in 150 years. Now, in health, currently, they're testing prosthetics that you can put on your body that you can control with your mind. Right? If you unfortunately happen to lose an arm or a leg, you can put this on and think, and the fingers will move. Isn't that amazing? Now, it's too expensive and it's not affordable, but it will get significantly cheaper. And very soon, losing a limb will be something that we can hopefully replace. Now, other things are more, other than limbs, are also problematic with health. For instance, kidney disease, liver disease, heart disease, organs, right? If you happen to have an organ disease, it's very difficult today to fix that. You have to get on a transplant list. It takes a long time, and it's not guaranteed that you'll get a transplant. And unfortunately, a lot of people die from organ disease. They're testing currently, today, the ability to print organs with a 3D printer. It takes your DNA and your cells from your body, and it prints a new liver or a new heart that works just for you. Now, it doesn't work today, but in 20 years, I'm sure it will. So imagine living in a world where if you have a problem with an organ, you can get a new one made just for you in about an hour. Pretty incredible. But there are other diseases as well, cancer, HIV, more complex diseases that are really difficult to battle. But imagine the power of computers and the power of the best doctors in the world working together to fight those diseases. And I have no doubt that you're going to see a significant increase in the lifespan of humans born today. You guys will live a lot longer than I will. And more importantly, you'll have much healthier lives. It's not very useful to live to 125 if you're sick, but I think the age of the end of illness is close, where we could live long, really productive, healthy lives. So technology is going to bring us smarter minds, healthier bodies, but that wouldn't be that useful if we had to work all the time just to make money so we can afford to buy things and buy food, and especially in more poorer countries where they spend a lot of time. In very poor countries, people spend 25, 30, 40% of their time just growing their own food. But technology is going to have a really big impact on money. Imagine a world where you just did not need money ever again. It was not useful. Imagine what you can do with your lives. Imagine people who would choose to go into artistic pursuits because now they choose not to because now they're afraid not to make enough money when they grow up. But now you can do whatever you want with your life if you had no constraints about money. Well, let me explain to you why technology could make the concept of money completely useless. Right now, today, if you haven't seen 3D printing, go on the web and look for 3D printers. Today, we can manufacture very basic things. It's a printer, and it just prints layers of resin, and it creates, this is something that was made today, right? It could create a really cool toy, very simple things. But in 10 years, you'll be able to make nearly anything you want. If you want a chair, boom, here it is, half an hour later. If you want a new car, you can push a button and it'll come out, a week later. So things will be available nearly for free. You'll have to pay for the printer and for the ink in the printer, but it's going to be very inexpensive. Pretty cool, right? Now, imagine if you can actually do this for food and water, and nobody had to worry about being fed ever again. That would be incredible. We had sessions before where we discussed the fact that over 1 billion people don't have enough to eat every day. This is a little bit far-fetched, obviously, to make your own food, but this is happening today. They are testing 3D printing of food today. It's very basic, or the food's not very good, but it's a start. So imagine 20 years from now, if we double every 18 months, and it gets better every 18 months, we'll likely be able to make our own foods, and nobody will ever have to worry about food again. Now, another big concern is energy. We had a lot of wonderful presentations about green energy and dirty energy, the massive impact on the environment. Well, imagine a world where everyone had unlimited, clean, nearly free energy. Seems really far-fetched, but remember, if a technology doubles every 18 months, 30 years from now, it's going to be how many times? 106 million times more powerful than today. So imagine the battery in your phone. Right now, it can barely power half a day's worth of phone conversations. But if it was 100 million times more powerful, it could power your house. Imagine solar technology doubling every 18 months. So I think it's entirely possible that we can live in a world where there's no need to make anything, no need to grow any food, and no need to worry about energy. Imagine a world like that. Imagine what you can do with your lives if you had a mind that's 1 million times more powerful, a body that doesn't fail, and didn't have to worry about food, energy, and things. What would you do with your lives? Wouldn't that be incredible? Well, the spark I want to leave you with is all these things have one thing in common. They're all driven by technology, and especially by computer software. If you want to change the world, if you want to radically change the world, get involved in the software industry. Especially, we need more girls to get involved. We need you badly. Please come and help. Come change the world. Thank you very much.